welcome back. Today we talk about the Meris LVX. This is the new pedal that they were working on and building since the last 2 years. So somehow it's the culmination of a lot of years of experience in the world of pedals. So first let me thank Meris for choosing me to be a beta tester of this. I have it since a couple of weeks and I really love what this pedal can do. At the moment you can pre-order it. This will be shipped in late summer, so there's still something that has to be refined and we are working to find every bug or whatever, but so far this is an amazing pedal. And you can say this is a delay, but basically this is a modular delay system. As they write me to say, is a modular delay system with pro audio heritage, advanced processing and high performance signal path. What this mean, we will see. We will go through some sound that I designed and I will show what the brilliant mind at Meris cooked to make you create very unusual kind of delay. But then also they put in it stuff coming from their other pedals, and I have experience with the Polymoon, that is one of my favorite delay. It has flanging and some other weird things happening in it, and basically that pedal is inside this one, plus many other things. Now at the moment there's some part of it that are still under development, and so I would not talk about the sequencer that it has, or maybe I will skip the looper for now, but I'm sure I will come back with more video and show, you know, everything about it. So what we have here, where you're listening was a sequence that I did on a SH01a, and is one of the simplest delay that I designed so far. It's I call it Cat Ult because it was inspired by the delay of Caterina Barbieri. But anyway, I will use the SH, then I will use, you cannot see it here, but there's the Oberheim Matrix 1000, and then I will use the modular with the Odessa, just to show, there's some ground issue in my house, just to show the potential of the LVX. Okay, first, it's fun to know about the name. The LVX was a robot in a short story of Isaac Asimov, as a robot that eventually comes to dreaming. And so that's why they, in their campaign, they were talking about make space for new memories and dreams, and this basically somehow is the dream of Meris put in a pedal. They work on this for 2 years, so you can imagine how powerful this thing is. Let's give an overview of the interface first, and then we will go into the details. So you have at any time 6 encoders that will work with different parameters. 4 of them are time, feedback, mix and mod, and those are fixed for any kind of preset you will create. And then you have these 2 encoders that can have different parameters assigned to them, so you can decide. And then this encoder here will be the one that allows us to go into the settings and into the creation of the delay. It's a modular because there's many modules that create the different sounds. So whenever you move the encoders, you move from the graphical interface to this one, and this one show you the 4 main setting, again, time, feedback, mod and mix. Mod is a characteristic tied to the kind of delay you are using. So for each delay engine, mod will do something different. Then you have 4 buttons. These buttons mostly are used turning on the three setting per bank. So for example, this is 16, 17, 18, or you can move up and down bank, pressing the 2, and then you can decide which one. So you have 99 preset in 33 banks, and then you have the tap, and the other things are for the looper. If you hold these, you go into the looper function. Even that one can be very complex because you can put the looper in different places of the audio signal, but that is for another video. So today I miss some oxygen because it's very hot in Italy and I was exercising, so pardon me. Let's listen to some sound that I did, and I have a list here of things that I want you to hear. Okay, so this is the one you were listening. It's a simple delay. You can see when you click here, when you click, you go into the preset page where you do all the setting, and you can see the kind of delay. So before going to the sound, let's actually see how this thing works. So once you press, this is the basic page, you press, you will have all the different modules, let's call, all the different blocks that create your delay sound or whatever it is, because it's very limiting to say this is a delay. It can create soundscape, it can be very, very deep and weird. So the first one is the delay page, where you have all the possibility to choose what kind of delay engine use. So structure, you would say what kind of delay it is. In this case, it's a standard. Then you have the multitap, you have multifilter, you have the poly, and the reverse. These are the main species of delay that you can use. And then on type, you can decide if it's a digital, bucket brigade, or magnetic. Now, I did a video on Patreon where I go step by step, show all of this part, and I don't want to do it here. I want to more show the sound and how, and maybe create one patch together. But again, the first tab, you have all the different setting that you can decide. And then with this, you move to the second one, dynamics, where you can add compressor, limiter, swell, swell is the name, right? Swell, where it basically is ducking the attack. Then we have a preamp section, when you can add a preamp. Could be the volume pedal, could be a tube preamp, a transistor, an OP amp, drive, and a Bitcrusher. Of course, it's digital emulation of that. The other fun thing is, like, say you want to put, say we want to put a Bitcrusher. As you can hear now, the Bitcrusher, I put the mix 100%. But I can decide where the location of this module will be. So when you go in location, it could be, oh, here we are, and basically it's just pre the delay effects, but it could be pre and dry. So this can happen also to the dry signal. Here we are. So now I will have both the Bitcrusher happening in the two dry signal and wet signal. This basically happen for most of the modules. Then you have a filter. Even in this case, we have different kind of filter, ladder, state variable, comb filter, and that's it, I think. Yeah. Then we have a pitch. Let's maybe reset. We'll see through that when we do a fully a patch from scratch. Pitch mod add different other effects. Could be chorus, flanger, dynamic flanger. This come from the Polymoon, for example. So basically, Polymoon is inside here, but there's also elements coming from the Hydra, from the Enzo, and the Autobit. So basically, this has a lot of bits and parts from the other successful pedal of Meris. Of course, I guess, because I didn't have the chance to try most of the other pedal, I don't think they have the full capability of the other pedal because they're very specific, but they are put here and works well with the delay concept. Then mix is where you do your mixing part between the different signals. The looper part and the modifier in the end is very powerful because you have two LFO assignable to any of the parameters, and then you have an envelope here are all the things here. Envelope follower, or I think it's an envelope follower by name. And then you have a 16-step a sample and hold and 16-step sequencer. And this is where this can get very complicated because you can create a sound that evolve. But for simple thing, I used, for example, the LFO for opening and closing the filter, the module filter. So you have, you know, a sound that keep changing. So you can listen to that later on. And then expression pedal, and globals. Globals, it's like all the setting that will work for any of the setting you do. So let's go back to some sound and let's listen. Right now I will use the SH01a and then we'll listen with something else. For example, this is that I call crude. These are all settings that I made in the last couple of days. This would be just with the mix completely wet. And if you want to hear what's happening here, just to show very quickly, there is a granularize effect that is basically a granular sampler that you can decide how many grains and how big they are and the repetition of it. No pitch involved, there's a ladder filter involved, a preamp, a Bitcrusher preamp, so it's getting very dirty, and then some compression, and the delay is a poly delay. So, of course, it's a in this case, I went overboard and create something that is not a simple delay, but a texturizer. Then crunchy. We find some. So this is the clean sound. Simple. What is this? Let's see. So delay is a multifilter delay, the structure, and the type is a bucket brigade. It does have the transistor as a preamp, and then it has a PolyChroma pitch. These are all things that comes from their other pedals. So you can actually also quantize the scale of all the pitch shifter. So it's pretty cool. Let's move. Cut. This was the one that we were listening before. And this one is a very bread and butter, how you say, kind of delay. I'll show you what it is. So it's a standard delay, and the type is a digital. And I put the dotted 8 as left and right division. You can separate the two, so you can have on the left one division and on the right another. Let's see this then. The mic is falling on me. Sorry. Come on. Alright, fixed. And then what else? I think I added some dynamic. No. This could be interesting to show. For example, there's a compressor. If you want to hear more your feedback lines, you turn this on. You can put the location in the feedback loop. And now, as you can hear, you basically are pushing the compressor on the feedback loop, so it will be more present and will not fade. It's very cool to have that. Let's listen to some other sound. Here, for example, right now I stopped, but there's the compressor that keeps pushing the feedback. And this is very cool because you can record these trails and create interesting thing. Let's listen now. Let's turn on my matrix. So the volume is a little different. I don't know why my matrix. And let me turn off and on. So I completely reset the pedal. There we are. I signed 058 as a nice sound. Very nice. Let's move to multi. This is very similar to the one before. Now a filter reverb. In this case, I added a filter on the reverb trail, as you can hear, that creates this sort of texture, sort of lo-fi. So the cool things, as you can see here, you can select these two, and in this case I wanted to have the different division from left and right channel handy. So I can, for example, change this. So it's very nice because from these you had this kind of crunchy tone. And you can use it also full wet. And see how cool this sound. This is just, I wouldn't call it like a delay in this case. It's something that creates a soundscape or a texture. Let's try Fanta. I'm going random with the sound now. In this case, let's see what it is. This is a more complex situation here. So it's a poly delay, the structure. I added a compressor. I added a ladder filter. No pitch, no mod. And I have What then create this sort of pitch shifting? It's actually the poly. The poly comes from the Polymoon, and as you can see here, there's a dimension, multiply, and the left mode and right mode. So this will change and create this sort of harmonization and pitch shifting. This was part of the Polymoon. And right now we are fully wet. Nice. Let's listen to more. This is a picture that is quantized as a minor scale of C. And, I mean, this is beautiful, right? Quick. It's a standard delay. And I'm pretty sure that I added a compressor, very strong, because as you can hear, it keep going on. And as harmony pitch. So this is beautiful. It's like just with few notes you have this soundscape going on. Okay, let's move forward with the tram. And this is like a reverb. That had some modulation later on. And some also grittiness. Sometimes I like to use pedal like this in full wet because it really had a lot to the sound. This is without. And now it created this interesting lo-fi warbliness. Beautiful. Let's move on with Ritmo. Let's see if I sign out some nice sound. And this, I think it's a multi-tap delay. Let's go see. It's a multifilter delay. That is, I think, is a multi-tap delay with filtering happening. I don't remember the right sound on the Matrix, so it's beautiful. Okay, let's move forward. I promise it's not gonna be. Oh, ambient is something I create with the idea of pressing one button and see what happens. So let's see. So this would be the single note, and now these are full wets again. And the idea here is creating, like, with one simple sound, something that is very complex. Here, there's for sure something that happening with the modifier section. Let's go there, and I show you modifiers. LFO. I have an LFO, very slow, in the shape of a sine. assigned to the frequency. So as you can hear, there's a movement in the filter. The cool thing is, like in LFO, you can decide the minimum and the maximum, so you don't have to, it will not engage in close and, you know, sorry, I don't know how to explain, but it's the true limit in which the LFO will move the parameters you want. Because if I put, for example, the minimum down to the minimum, then at a certain moment the delay will completely disappear, because it will close completely the filter. Instead, if you have it set to this, it will go up and down, but it will never disappear. Nice. Then I have this, I call cassette. There's a cassette simulator, and I pushed it a lot. And I put this cassette simulator on the not on the pre and the dry signal, so it will be applied to any signal even if the delay mix is at 0. Nice. This is a green. I'm still using a pad, but as you can hear, it's cool because you put a pad and then this grain creates some sort of rhythm. Nice. This one. For example, this is the sound, but I like using swell. If you put it at the maximum mix, basically it will kill completely the attack. And then there's some LFO happening. So from this, like a sort of regular piano, you get this. So this is a machine that is very fun to use full wet, I think, to completely revolutionize the kind of sound you have. Do I have anything else? No, that's it. That is the few things that I create. And I mean, there's also the one that come with the machine. For example, in this one, there's an LFO. And it might be that there's an envelope that modify the LFO speed. So you created This is another cassette. Okay, so now it's time to listen to the modular system. I have a sequence that I just created with the USTA. And we do something nice here. Let's start with works well with synths. You have in global the chance to decide if it works for with guitars or line synth. We want to create something from scratch just to see, and then we go to the conclusion. Let's go to, let's pick number 10 is a default. So for example, if you want to start, so for example, first I want to let's start with this. So I would set the top, and now let's listen to the delay that we want. This is the standard. This would be the reverse. This is the poly, that is very nice. This multi-tap. Let's keep working with the standard, and let's do something like the left division. We put this. Nice. Let's add some dynamic to it. So could be compressor, could be swell. Let's push to here more, so compressor. Location, we decide to have it in the feedback loop. Let's lower the threshold. Let's push the ratio. And let's push the gun. And we do a fast attack. Preamp, let's listen. So let's put full mix so we hear what it does. So let's go tube. You can decide the gain and the level of it. Transistor, op-amp, and drive. Bitcrusher also is very nice. But for this one I want to keep it clean. Filter. So filter can be different kind of filtering. Even in this case, let's put it in post. Frequency, see. Resonance, and the topology could be low pass, high pass, band pass. Let's use a high pass. Actually, let's use a band pass, and then add some resonance, and we do some, and then we do something with LFO to show you how it works. Pitch. Let's pitch. Let's set up, this is a full octave up. Mod, we have chorus, flanger, dynamic flanger, cassette, barber pole, granularize. Let's, and rig mod, let's use some flanger, but a little slower and with less mix. Nice, and now we can push the wet trim if we want. Alright, then let's go to the modifier and let's decide to use the LFO at a very 0.2 Hertz. We use the sine, then we assign it to assign to the filter. Here we are. And let's set a minimum and maximum so it doesn't move too much. Something like this. Okay, so basically this is something we create our first delay. As you see, super simple, and it can go extremely complicated or extremely easy, whatever you want. To save, you just hold this button, you name it whatever you want, moving this, ba-da-ba-ba, and then you can actually decide which of the two things will happen here. So let's see, we put in this one, my favorite things is to put the division. This is the left, that's the right, and then you press, and now it's saved. If I change this, it will change the division. As you hear, the mod for each different delay does something different, and that is set with the kind of the delay. So from this, and all right. That was how easy and fast is the designing of a patch is. That said, let's get to some, like, is there anything else in the market that is similar to this one? At this point, I don't know. Probably the other pedal that can reach to this kind of territory is the hologram microcosm, with two different attitudes, I think, because I've already been asked many times in these few days if those two pedals compete to each other. And I think they're two different approach to the, let's say, not same problem, but the microcosm doesn't allow you to design anything. It comes with a very cool algorithm. You use them, you don't, at least I don't really know what's happened, and it's instant gratification, but not a lot of control. While the looks, beside being a super powerful basic delay, it can go in the same territories as the microcosm, but of course it needs more, knowledge, because you need to design your own modular system. So I would say, if you like to create sound, you're a sound designer and you want to have control on a lot of parameter, this is your dream, like it's your dream pedal. It can basically do everything. You can reach soundscape zone, ambient zone, or again, it can be just a simple delay. Don't forget that is MIDI controllable, and you can control basically everything. So it could be a very powerful tool, even sequenced with an octatrack, for example, where you can have all the single part sequenced. That said, I don't think, in my experience, I have other pedal that could work like this one. As you know me also for a person that likes simplicity over complicated things. And so one question that I ask myself, how I deal with a pedal like this that definitely needs some time. First of all, on my video in Patreon, that was like after I just opened the box and I could design stuff by myself without even read the manual. So kudos to Meris. That is what I love about engineering stuff. If it's simple enough that I can use it without reading a manual, it's a great work. It means that they put a lot of thoughts on user interface and how you can get things fast and simple. After a week, not even, that I'm using it, because I just came back, this arrived just before the super booth, and I come back from the super booth to learn and to use and do some content. I have to say that now that I'm into the system, I really think it's super smart and super fast, and it's great to create. I had fun today creating all of these different patches to show you. So so far I'm really pleased. We are working together with Meris to, again, not simplify, but you know, the final touches before this will be shipped in summer. I definitely recommend it, and again, for full disclosure, this is a collaboration that I'm doing with Meris. They only send me the pedal though, so they didn't ask me to say anything, and this is just my opinion on it. Of course, I'm really grateful to have been chosen to demo and be a beta tester. So I hope that this is a platform that actually will grow up with time and become better and better with time. But so far, yes, this could be your last stop delay. You can do everything with that. Let's change a little bit. Yeah, if you want to know more about this, you can download the manual where you will find all the small details. I will come back for the looper part, and I still have to dig into the 16-step sequencer because I'm sure you can do pretty crazy stuff with that. But also, you guys know I like simple workflows, so far what you hear is what I would do with this pedal. I wouldn't use it like something that is not. I wouldn't push it too much. I love things that create soundscape, that create texture, and this has texture for days. Okay, I hope this was helpful for you to choose or not if you want to pre-order this. More video will come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.